How's it going, guys? Welcome back to TheBlueShifting and welcome back to the house in Fata Morgana. Last time we got the end of the swordsman's tale, and we also had a kind of another weird dream where we kind of lived through some of Morgana's perspective memories of when she was enslaved by and used by the Lord. And that's a perfect way to jump us into going to meet Jacopo, or whatever his name is, because he's going to be one of the more interesting ones to see. I'm burning out on this one. Like, not the story. The story is fantastic, but like this, it's so sad. It's so depressing all the time. It's like I feel like I'm dragging my feet. But we're gonna get through it. We're gonna get through it in the end, and we're gonna finally go and save Morgana, maybe save the future. I can hope, right? I can only hope. But let's do this. Just a quick FYI, if you didn't notice for some reason, I have started a brand new series. Persona 5, actually. Should have aired on Saturday. If not, I will be editing this out. But if you're listening to it, that means it actually came out. I am starting a Saturday series. It should be Persona 5 every week. And it's going to be our 4th series. I'm going to branch out from visual novels a little bit, but focus more still on high, like, character-based gameplay of some kind. And I think Persona 5 Royal was the perfect addition to this series. So look for that. Hope you enjoy it. If you didn't know it was around, now you do. So I just wanted to share that with you, and I hope you guys have a great week. But let's jump into it, right? Let's get started. Morgana. That was much clearer than the first time I saw it. Everything she felt, her struggling, her sincerity, her pain, and her voice. It felt almost as though I was the one going through it all. Huh. The Lord. I can understand why Morgana would bear such a powerful grudge against him, considering everything he did to her. Why would he do that, though? Is there some reason, some explanation for his actions? What if this time there isn't? What if there is no redemption for him? Ugh. I'm thoroughly exhausted. Like, I've just spent the last several months having my blood drained again and again. But to be fair, you did have your arm sliced open and your fingers broken. Anybody would be pretty exhausted trying to heal from that. My limbs feel like they have boulders tied to them. Just trying to get out of my feet makes me dizzy. Ugh. So cold. Like me every day. She's probably waiting for me by now. I should get going. I have to do this. Move, dang it. Fighting against my body's attempts to succumb to gravity with every step through the sheer force of will, I make my way to the courtyard. Right, we're supposed to meet Maria. Oh, there you are. So, thank goodness you came. Sneaking onto church grounds is a bit unnerving if you... Are you alright? You look like you just came back from the dead. I'm fine. Thank you for coming. Now, to continue our conversation from yesterday. Whoa, slow down. Who do you think you're convincing? You look like about as fine as an effing corpse. If you're not feeling well, we can always do this some other time. And whoa, what happened to your hand? It's a minor injury. No, it's not. Nothing of any significance. Seriously? Who do you think you're convincing, man? I can get around just fine without a few fingers. You gotta take yourself into consideration, too. You can only run on raw determination for so long. And I imagine how it makes me feel for a second, you asking to talk and showing up looking like that. If you want to get anything done, you gotta take care of yourself first. Head back to your room and rest. Let's do this some other day, okay? When you're feeling... I don't have that kind of time. Noon tomorrow. That's my deadline. I have to take care of everything before then. I know darn well the condition I'm in, but that doesn't change what I need to do. If I don't, I can't save Morgana. I can't get Giselle back. That makes it all the more important you get your rest. And when do you suggest I do that exactly? Honestly, I don't get why you're in such a darn tizzy. Get a hold of yourself, man. I am plenty calm. It sure don't look like it. You're already pushing yourself to the edge. I don't want to be responsible for giving you that last nudge. So quit bickering with me and you get your butt back and get some rest. You don't understand the gravity of the situation. None of you do. You don't grasp how an effect stopping what happens tomorrow will have. I have to keep moving, even if it means crawling through the dirt. If I don't, not only will I fail to make things better, Morgana's almost certainly going to got even worse fates in store for all of you, so long as her curse lives on. I'm the only one here who knows what awaits. So that makes you what? A prophet or something? Not exactly, no. But in the terms of this time period, that would be the most apt description. Do you not believe me? Well, you know, that is asking a lot. That's fine. You don't have to. But at the very least, please, I want you to believe I am genuine. I genuinely believe something terrible is going to happen tomorrow if I don't do something. That I think I don't have time to waste. All I need you to do is tell me what you know. Could you do that for me? Assuming you actually are a prophet or whatever, why don't you just, get the heck out of town? Say, F this, it's too much, and vanish into the night. No one's gonna blame you if you do. Heck, if anyone's ever gonna notice you did anything if you succeed. I'm not in this for attention or praise. I cannot sit idly by knowing what I know. Seeing what has happened and what will. Knowing what Morgana went through, what she felt. I can't abandon her, not anymore. I can't let my knowledge go to waste. While it is true the mansion will continue to be wrapped in darkness so long as Morgana's curse remains in effect. And nothing can be put to rest until I do something about that. That's not my sole motivation anymore. I sincerely want to help Morgana. Giselle, is this what you meant when you told me you wanted me to save her? You seem like the kind of fellow who's always fretting about something or other. Yeah. You don't know how to take it easy, do you? Though I guess in a way that's kind of why you can fight so hard, huh? Alright, you win, I'll talk. Anything you want to know, I'll tell you. Thank you very much. But you sit your butt down first. Okay. Alright. Morgana said that? She did. She described her 3 years as one of the brightest periods of her life. Huh, who'd have thought? Dang, that's really great of her. Did she never tell you herself how she felt? She never really made much of an attempt to be part of the group. It was like she had these colossal walls all around her. I can see that. Yeah, so I always kind of felt like I never knew if I was sticking my nose in too far, you know? She appreciated what you and the other women did for her. After the raid 4 years ago, she ended up in the hands of a slave trader. As she was being transported, she said this with tears in her eyes. I'm sad because I didn't get the chance to show my gratitude to the people very dear to me. Well, dang. So is that, absolutely 100% exactly what she said? You're not just pulling that out of your butt, are you? Those were her exact words. Yes, as hard as they may be to believe. Nah, I believe you. I'm just surprised is all. I mean, just wow, yeah. If I'd have known that was how she felt, maybe she could have been a little I could have been a little friendlier with her. You weren't friendly with her? Not especially. I mean, that's not how I say I was cold or anything. It's just that all the girls kept a bit of distance from her. Not because we didn't like her, but because it's what it looked like she wanted, some distance. None of us really cut off with her caretaker gig. As much as we'd love to be some kind of mother figure for her, we just didn't have it in us. Who was closest to her? He's dead. The slave. Huh? What's this about a slave? There was a young man, a slave, who participated in the revolt of the Lord's Manor, who saved Morgana's life. Ah, yeah, that guy. He was the closest of any of us to her, or at least, he gave her the most attention. And he's 6 feet under. That's unfortunate. Kitty. My cat's pawing at the door. What can you do? People come and go. That's their way of things. I thought that maybe if he were still alive, that would improve our chances of saving Morgana. Improve our chances? There's only one way about it. We smash the Lord's effing skull in and take his key. Wait a minute. What if the slave is Jacopo? That'd be insane. It's not it, but wouldn't that be crazy? If we kind of explain a lot though, like how he Nah, it doesn't really make sense. Because how would he end up being the Lord? But it would explain how he knew about Morgana. That's not an option. Doing that will not alleviate her hatred. Would you be willing to accompany us when we go into the observation tower? Huh? Me? Why? I want you to be there to say something to her. I'll say whatever you want me to say once you got her out of the tower. Don't you think being able to hear the voice of someone she cares for when she finally is set free would do more to pull her out of darkness than anything else? That's all the more reason it can't be me. Why not? Like I've been saying, I was never really tight with her. I kept my distance. I can't do anything. Not with the reasons you've given me for why she's so full of hatred. I have no other options, though. You know, actually, well, I doubt this will be much of a getting away with her grudge. There is something I was supposed to give her, but never got the chance. Oh? It's nothing special, just a rinky-dinky little necklace. But if you get the chance, would you mind giving it to her? If anything, that should come from you. It's not from me. It was supposed to be from the slave. He got it for her as a birthday present, but that was the day the brothel got raided. So yeah, that's the story. Make sure she gets it, won't you? Okay, I will. Thanks, man. Well, now that's out of the way, I should split. Best of... There you are. Oh. Oh, so that was a creepy voice. I thought someone was sneaking up on us, but it was that was Nelly. You weren't in your room. I was worried sick. What are you two doing here? You're going to talk about the Lord tonight, right? So there's a chance you might be able to set the Saints free. Now I'm not going to miss that. That's why you're here. That and to say goodbye. I want for them to make reparations as soon as the girl's released. Do you feel the same way, Nelly? If Mel tells me that's what he wants to do, then I won't stop him. But he was threatened, so if it's possible, I don't think there's any need for him to be rushed to be punished. I don't want to lose my brother. Surely there are other ways he can atone. That's reasonable. I do feel guilty about what he was put through. It's not your fault what he did. Anyway, I'm really anxious about tonight, but I'm sure it'll all turn out fine. You'll make it work, won't you, dearest Michelle? I'll do my best. Oh, come on. You gotta act confident. Take care of my Mel for me, too. He's very fragile, so handle him with care. Like a big old box of china. Is he really that fragile? As for me, if he looks like he's going to do anything he shouldn't, would you stop him for me? I wish I could be there to do it myself, but, well, he insists only the people directly involved should be there, and I want to respect that. I was never going to allow anyone to get hurt anyway. That's good. Thank you. He and the Lord may have caused the girl a great deal of pain, but I still don't want anyone to get hurt. Some people deserve it, and I say let 'em have it. Now, Maria, don't be like that. You're the weird one, little Miss Perfect. Go around letting everyone off the hook and everything, the whole darn world's gonna come falling down around you. He did what he did for me, though. And the Lord? He's only in it for the profit. Much as he says benefit the city, it comes still back around to his own pocket. The Lord's not a bad man, though. Yeah, I've heard that 1,000 times. Not one's a bad person in your eyes, I know. Now, can we please try and keep things civil? Oh yeah, sorry, bad habit, I know. I talk a lot of rot, but I don't really mean half of it. I do think he's much better than the old Lord, though. Oh. Hold on a second. What did you just say? He's better than the old. When did the current Lord take his place? 4 years ago. What? Morgana was 9 years old when she was at the Lord's Manor. 7 years ago? Maria, were you ever at the Lord's Manor at any time in 7 years ago? No, I was never hired by anyone there. Then when? She didn't have any interaction with the Lord 7 years ago. Ah, now it all makes sense. How did I not consider the possibility sooner? I know what kind of man he is, and I know the people he had around him. Maria, is the slave actually dead? Oh my gosh, did I freaking call that? No! How? You better have a darn good reason for this. Oh, wow. That's a scary picture right here. Like, this is... I don't like any of this right now. I came because you said he had something important to discuss. Now, care to tell me what the heck the white-haired man is? Who the heck the white-haired man is and what he's doing here? You neglected to mention that we'd be having company. I'm the one who asked to arrange this meeting with you. And who the heck would you be? He's an angel. Or a prophet. What? Did you both finally snap under the pressure? I'll leave it to you to decide what you think I am. I will say, though, that I know everything. I know you've got a girl imprisoned in the observation tower, and I know you're taking her blood and calling it medicine, passing it out at the church. Which of you squealed? No one told him anything. He just knew. He knows everything, including my deepest desires and what happens in my next life. He's probably peering into your soul this very moment. You've completely lost it, I see. Well, how you got your information doesn't matter. All I need to know is this. What are you hoping to gain from it? Wealth? My downfall? What? Morgana's freedom. I want you to give me your key. I would then want you to tell me your story. I've come here from the future, from the world after Morgana's death. Her soul courses with hatred for the three of you, and she placed a curse of eternal suffering on your souls. Has everyone in this table gone mad? Did you seriously think I would believe that nonsense? Don't interrupt me. My objective is not so much to rescue Morgana's physical body from the tower, but to save her soul from an eternity of loathing. I can't achieve that on my own, however. Because I am not from this time, I have had no direct interaction with her or anyone else here until just recently. In order to make her have a change of heart, I need to gather the truth from the people who are from this time. And I suspect that you hold the last piece of the puzzle. The biggest piece. That you have a far deeper connection with Morgana than anyone else here. No, but I am all but certain of it now. Your perspective is crucial to accomplishing my goal. Tell me your whole story, please. How you ended up capturing and imprisoning Morgana, and what you thought and felt along the way. Your truth will get through to her, I know it. That will be the turning point in all this. Her curse will be no more, and you will all be returned to the paths you were meant to walk. Everyone will have their salvation. Someone throw this madman out. I won't do it. Neither will I. Worthless curs. I'll call the guards then. Who do you think I am exactly? I am the lord of this land. Under ordinary circumstances, I'd never so much as deny to speak with you, lowly peasant. Now get out of my sight. Or I'll take it as an act of aggression, and you'll find yourself without a head. In this room, right now, you're not a lord. You're a lone man. Until you hand over your key, we're not letting you leave. And you'll find there aren't any guards for you to call. You're all alone on this estate. Your preoccupation with staying out of sight played right into our hands. Accept your defeat, Lord. We've already agreed to set the witch free. Cowardly worms. Ironic, coming from you. I didn't think you'd turn coat quite so eagerly. The nun and your kid sister are in on it too, I take it? We were only working for you. We never felt any sort of allegiance to you. Loyalty founded on what one has to gain or lose is far more resilient than uncertain fluctuating feelings. But it would appear this white-haired man shattered that foundation. Huh. How long have you been colluding with them, cur? I arrived in this era 2 days ago. What? 2 days? In just 2 days, you got these worms dancing for you? They are not dancing for me. I merely spoke with them, and they listened. You're a disturbed man. You couldn't possibly have won over these two in a mere 2 days. He's no ordinary man. As we've said, he knew everything. When I was talking to him, I felt like he was looking directly into my soul. He's definitely an unusual one, yeah. I felt like he's known me my whole life, even though he only just showed up out of nowhere 2 days ago. I didn't believe what he was saying at first, but he knew things he couldn't possibly know. My secret wish, something I've never told anyone before. I don't know what kind of tricks you're playing, but now I know why I've never seen you around. You'd been lurking around the city for longer, sticking your nose where it doesn't belong. I would have taken notice sooner or later. Huh, I'm impressed. In only 2 days, you managed to convince them both to betray me and set me up. I am indeed the one in charge of this operation, so if that's witch you're after, I'm the obvious target, then yes. And the 2 dogs there surely have some pent-up rage. So I take it you're going to tie me up, then torture me until I tell you what you want to know? That's not a bad idea. What do you say? Give me the word and he's in ropes. Wait, we agreed we weren't going to get rough. I have no interest in solving this problem with violence. We are here to uncover the truth. We needn't exchange blows, only words. Anyway, if we were going to beat it out of him, we would have done so as soon as he walked through the door. We discussed this beforehand. We're only talking. No one's getting into any fights. Physical or verbal. That's right. Well, looks like I've got no way out, so you've got me. I surrender. Take my key. Go open the tower doors. What? That was easier than expected. Your key is not important right now. Your perspective is what I seek. Why did you make it so the lock required 3 keys? 1 person is more than adequate for the job. So why split it 3 ways? Is that any of your concern, cur? Was it because it was too much weight to bear alone? You didn't actually want to imprison Morgana, did you? Something somewhere went wrong. You backed yourself into a corner and couldn't escape. I'm done listening to you. Am I right or am I wrong, Lord? Or should I say, Jacopo? Jacopo? But isn't his name, Jean Francesco Barriner? That's Lord Barriner to you, you insolent child. You seem a bit confused. I am a son of a house Barriner, which means I'm royalty. No, you are not. I don't know how you came to start calling yourself Barriner, but there's not a drop of royal blood flowing through your veins. The slave revolt at the Lord's Manor 7 years ago. You were there, weren't you? During the revolt, you helped Morgana escape. That's right, you saved her life once. That was you. You were the slave from 7 years ago. Slave? Are you out of your mind? Me, a slave? Like a former slave could become royalty. You did it, though. You went from slave to lord. Enough! I don't know who's filled your white-haired head of yours with drivel, but I'm done listening to it. Say another word and I'll throttle you myself. Keep slandering my name, I dare you. Maria told me the slave from back then was dead. She didn't mean it literally, though. She meant he wasn't who he used to be anymore. Maria, you've been talking to her too? Because she was afraid if Morgana found out. It would only serve to throw her deeper into despair. The man who had once saved her was now responsible for keeping her imprisoned. Do your ears not work, cur? I said I've had enough. I need your perspective. There's not more to the story, I'm certain of it. I refuse to believe you acted for your own benefit, only to cause her pain. If you want the key so badly, then take it! Shit, set the witch free, I don't care. But if you say another word, I'll rip your tongue out. Again, the key is not what I need right now. I need your story. Are you deaf or just an imbecile? Your perspective is crucial in saving Morgana's soul. Enough. When you were a slave, you helped Morgana escape from the Lord. Silence! And you spent the next 3 years with her. Just one more word, I swear. So how did you end up here? How did the boy from 7 years ago go from saving her to locking her up and stealing her blood? There's no excuse for your actions, no. But please, I need you to tell me how you got to this point. Enough! Michel! The next thing I see is a dagger in his hand pointing at me. I reflexively try to push myself out of the path of his charge with my dominant hand, which sends a jolt of excruciating pain at my right arm. Gah! I'll rip your head off! The Lord swung his arm up, and the necklace spills from my pocket, making a metallic clink as it hits the floor. When he sees it, his eyes grow wide for a brief moment. Of course. I'm just as slack-jawed as him. Why? Wait, what? Oh, what the heck is going on? Why? How? Why am I looking at a familiar cloud of inky black darkness? Uh-oh! There's no one to answer my question, though. And no time to think about it, either. I have to make a decision right now. The Lord's dagger rays is quickly approaching. Off to the side, the cloud of darkness is expanding. Shove the Lord aside, reach into darkness, shove the Lord aside, reach into darkness, ah! The darkness sounds like a really bad idea. But I think we should do it. Reach into darkness. I reach my hand into the darkness spreading from the necklace. And as soon as I do... What the is this? What is that black stuff? The blackness swells, consuming us all. No, stop. What is this? Don't make me. Watch this! His shouts fade into the distance, and my mind and body are swallowed up entirely. It's the same thing that happened whenever Giselle and I opened a door. The same darkness I've gazed into again and again and again and again in that cursed mansion. The house that exists outside reality. Far, far off in the distance, I can see a gentle light like a hole ripped out of the darkness. Green grass, colorful flowers rustle in the wind. I don't understand. The darkness, it was never present in the past. It was, I thought, a phenomena restricted to the realm of the dead. So what is it doing here? But even my questions are in short order swallowed up by the void. Soon my body ceases to retain its form, leaning only on my consciousness to view the sights, sounds, and emotions of someone's past. I become an observer, and as I have many times before. Holy crap. I didn't see that coming. That's very interesting. Staring into a pair of ruby red eyes, open wide with shock. I recall snapping at him, insulting him, but I don't remember what I said. Nor do I remember how he responded. All I know is that the wave of turning blackness appears out of nowhere, washing me away. I'm powerless, helpless, hopeless. My young mind sucked into it like a whirlpool. Young? My young mind? Oh, for goodness sake. You've got to be kidding me. Why? Why am I being made to look back at this part of my life? The miserable, stupid romantic I once was. Why am I turning back into the boy I tried so hard to forget? Where did this absurd black smoke come from, and why can't I get out of it? If that's the white-haired man who's doing this to me, he's not an angel or a prophet. He's the devil himself. But all my questions, my confusion, my frustration, everything that composes my present is suspended by that darkness, superseded by the darkness, whisked away into nothing. How's it going, guys? Yeah, bit of a change. Nothing to worry about. Just there was some time between the first part of the recording and this final part. Won't be too much longer, honestly. I don't think I have too much more time before I need to get this, rolling, getting it edited, and get it ready for you. But I didn't think I'd had quite enough of a long episode. But man, this is taking a twist, hasn't it? So I think we're now in Jacopo's memory, his recollections from his point of view. It's like we're at the point where we're in a dream, so I'm not sure what that's all about. To be blunt, this world's a small place. There's an unimaginable amount of it out there, but you only ever get to see a minuscule fraction of that. And that goes doubly for us, the poor barely get a chance to see any of it at all. And those who were born into affluence, well, they have no idea just how small our world really is. I never yearned for the world outside what I knew. I more coveted it, a splash of spite mixed in. I wanted to claw my way up at the mountain, knock all the jerks down who had never seen what it was like at the bottom. If I made it high enough, I could do anything. I would have complete freedom. If that sounds like a childish fantasy to you, well, you'd be right. That's exactly what it was. There you are. You spend so much time in that graveyard that one of these days somebody's going to think you're a gravekeeper, or maybe a grave robber. I can understand a gravekeeper, but I take offense at the suggestion I look like a grave robber. I'm praying for the souls who have no one to see them off. The girl, that was her. The girl, named Morgana, turned around to face me. Though I'd known her for some time, I'd rarely ever looked her in the eyes. Her face was almost always concealed beneath a dark hood, revealing only the tip of her nose and sometimes her lips. Honestly, I don't get it. Why do you care so much? These are souls that have no one else to pray for them. At best, they may get a bit of lip service from the priest once or twice. It's our responsibility to offer a helping hand to the sick and the poor, to pray for the abandoned souls. What I don't get is why you need to pray for the dead at all. They're just bags of bones. I hope you enjoy eternity in hell, blasphemer. Hey, that was uncalled for. I'm just joking. obviously. You take black humor to a new level. Morgana gave me a curt shrug, then turned away. She never faced anyone head-on for very long, and she had a perfectly good reason for it. It wasn't because she disliked me or anything. I don't think, anyway. About 3 years earlier, something had happened that caused the large patches of flesh to fall off her face. Supposedly, she had looked fine before then, but I only knew her as she was at the time. The rest of her body was covered in wounds as well, but applying ointment to them had reduced the scarring significantly. Her face, though, showed no signs of recovering. A close friend of mine, a prostitute, said that she thought there might be a psychological thing, but regardless, I continued applying the ointment to Morgana's face. Aww. And she's actually, like, talkative. That's so, like... I don't know. I got the impression that she barely talked to anybody, but, like, they actually seem to be having a conversation. Hey, come on. Don't turn away from me. I know you can hear me. I brought ointment, so let me put it on you. It's a waste of time. You don't know that. Your arms look much better than before. It won't be long before your face starts healing too. The ointment isn't free. You're wasting your money. It's my money. I can use it however I please, so just shut up and let me do this. You're a very obnoxious man, you know? What was that? You want me to rub it in really hard, huh? Fine. With a forlorn graveyard as the backdrop, a young man applied salve to a girl's raw, exposed flesh. Ugh. It was quite possibly the least romantic sight in the world. I would have, at the very least, preferred a somewhat more pleasant location. As the thought fluttered through my mind, I let out a defeated laugh as I could soon feel her glaring at me. Morgana could be a bit standoffish, but honestly, I didn't mind. For her, this was actually quite sociable, in fact. When I first met her, she didn't act her age at all, but now she was starting to show signs of a 12-year-old girl hidden inside. 3 years prior, when I met Morgana, she had been the victim of unspeakable abuse at the hands of the Lord. I didn't know why he had done those things to her. And I didn't ask either, because I knew doing so would only reopen old wounds. All I knew was that the Lord was so far gone as a human being as to brutally torture a 9-year-old girl. And at the time, the only thing that ever seemed to come out of her mouth was the word of God. Everything she said or did was obstinately for the benefit of others. But it felt to me like she was more acting out of some sort of sense of duty rather than genuine concern. Honorable, but ultimately hollow. I much, much preferred this Morgana, even if she could be jaded. What are you hoping to get out of repairing my face? I'm not trying to get anything. I just want to help you heal up. And here, I thought you were going to try and make me work at the brothel. How many times do I have to tell you? I'm not going to make you a prostitute. What other reason could you have for wanting my face to get better? Because I want to see it. Isn't that enough? Just so we're clear, that wasn't me hitting on you, okay? The thought never occurred to me. Oh, now he's disappointed. She felt quiet, sitting there motionless as I rubbed ointment into her face. Her skin beneath my thumb was rough and unpleasant to touch, and honestly rather stomach-turning. It was hard to imagine her face would ever heal. What I'd said about waiting to see her face was true. Wanting to see her face. But what I wanted more than anything was for her to be able to live a relatively normal life. I hope you're prepared to be let down if I ever do heal. That possibility's just part of the fun. You have as much tact as a worm. No, tact and bad taste. I'm a real winner. I like him. He's cool. I know he's a terrible person later on, but like, you gotta admit, that's a good attitude to have. It's a wonder no one throttles you in your sleep. Being a guy, of course, I would have been pleased if she turned out pretty with her face healed. But her life was guaranteed to be easier no matter what she looked like. That was really mattered ultimately. I could only imagine how hard it was to have your life turned completely upside down at the age of 9. A large portion of us in the slums had our share of misfortune, but hardly any of them stacked up to what Morgana had to bear. She had no parents. When I'd asked her about her mother, she'd gone cagey with me, so I assumed she'd been sold off. When I'd asked about her father, though, she'd just pointed up at the sky, which I took to mean he was dead. A young girl, no family, sent off on her own to some strange land somewhere along the line, ending up in the Lord's cruel grasp. Misfortune felt like an understatement, if anything. That said, I wasn't just out of pity I gave Morgana so much of my attention. The other reason, though, well, she'd probably go running if I told her. Heck, I wanted to hit myself over the head. I'll still be your friend, even if you turn out to be the ugliest girl in the city. You should be grateful. How is it you haven't managed to chase off everyone in your life yet? I act like a decent guy around other people. Do my best to fit in. Then why are you such a dolt around me? Just doing my best to fit in. So you're saying that this is my fault? Everyone could use a thorn or two. Makes it more exciting. You especially. Okay, that should be everything. Does it sting anywhere? Not particularly, no. Alright. Oh, and finish up here and get back to Maria soon. Unless you'd rather I drag you there. Why? Seriously? It's your birthday, that's why. And? What do you think, dimwit? She wants to celebrate. Get back there soon, okay? I'm planning to drop by too. Okay. Okay. She gave a sheepish nod, which was honestly kind of cute, but of course I couldn't say that. So I shrugged my shoulders, feigning exasperation, then turned to leave. Once I might have offered to accompany her back to the brothel, but Morgana never seemed keen on the idea of walking her anywhere with me. Maybe she's afraid of grown men, after what had happened to her at the Lord's Manor. Or maybe she just didn't want me to be seen with someone who looked like her. So, hey, I thought you were leaving. One day, I'll show you the world. That line. I won't get my hopes up. Get your hopes up, dang it. I said with a soft chuckle, and then I took my leave. I had every intention of making good on that promise, and I had more than enough reason to believe I could. 3 years back, there was a slave revolt at the Lord's Manor. That's not quite accurate, though, because while I was partly responsible for inciting the riot, I wasn't actually a slave. The local lord was spoken of in whispers as the second coming of the great tyrant of old. People were constantly grumbling about how he seemed to treat the land like his own personal playground, exploiting everything and everyone on it for his own amusement. When enough stress and resentment builds up in the confined space, all it takes is a little shove from outside to burst. And that was our plan. Me and a number of other dissatisfied citizens gathered together to pop that bubble and give the Lord a taste of how we felt about him. With the help of a slave trader, I infiltrated the Lord's Manor. I had known slaves weren't treated well, but seeing it for myself, I thought most of these people would have been happier having been born as a dog or cat, and owned by someone who actually had a heart. It was revolting, a flagrant injustice. Broadly speaking, there are two types of people who see injustice in the world. The first are those who have everything, who sit unchallenged at the top of the world looking down on the less fortunate with pity. The second are those with nothing, who wish to overthrow the entire system keeping them down. It should come as no surprise that I fell into the second camp. Once I was inside, I went around the manor telling all the slaves about our plan. Most of them had long since lost the will to fight, but with enough assurance that there were people on the outside ready and waiting to help, glimmers of hope started to return to their eyes. Finding out they weren't alone, that they weren't helpless anymore, had an incredible effect on their morale. And once the slaves were convinced, the revolt began. It ended up being much larger in scale than I had imagined, and many lost their lives in the process, but the majority of them managed to escape. Naturally, the slaves couldn't stay in the city, so I directed them to people waiting outside who would take them to another city or neighboring country. I had neither the money nor power to guarantee them a good life on the outside, but that hardly mattered to them. Everyone was sure that whatever they ended up doing was better than staying, and I prayed that would be the case. It was during the revolt that I saved Morgana. I would have sent her off somewhere else like the other slaves, but she was in so dire a condition when I found her that she could hardly even move her on her own. She had been sapped of all her willpower. So I brought her to the brothel where a friend of mine was worked and asked her to take Morgana in. My companions and I reveled in the revolt's success. It wasn't enough of an accomplishment to have any real political implications, but we still felt like heroes. Drunk on victory, we started talking about going bigger, starting a full-on revolution. Once the elation passed, though, we realized there wasn't much more we could do. Even if we did manage to start a large enough uprising to kill the Lord, we were only peasants. Not only did we not know the first thing about ruling, the other counts would never acknowledge our authority anyway. We pretended to be in the control until the next in line showed up, and that would be the end of that. So we just ended up sitting on our thumbs, no way to do anything about our discontent. Skip forward about a month before Morgana's birthday. One day, a middle-aged woman approached me. I'd never met her before, but she had a wavy hair that reminded me a great deal of my own. Looked me straight in the eye, the woman said, I was once a maidservant for the Barroner estate. They've done their best to keep it a secret, but I had a child with the previous lord. And that child is you. Interesting. The revelation came completely out of the blue. According to her, I had royal blood, and if we could convince the lord of that, I would become royalty. Furthermore, she, as my alleged mother, could return to her old life at the manor. The woman urged me to take action, to meet the lord, reveal my lineage, and reclaim my rightful place at the Barroner house. Barnier house. I would no longer be a poor peasant living in the slums. I'd have a comfortable life. I obviously wasn't going to agree on the spot. Her story was so blatantly dubious, I needed some time to think about it. If she was telling the truth, though, it could transform our revolution from a dream into reality. We wouldn't be restricted to inciting inconsequential uprisings. We could seize power legitimately and make some actual change. So I asked the woman to give me some time to consider. Have you decided what you're going to give her? Oh, that was the very first thing I heard when I stepped through the back door of the brothel, so that would be, Maria. Maria, a short blonde-haired prostitute, good friend of mine, flashed me a devilish smirk. I bought a necklace, as per your suggestion. Girls appreciate that sort of thing, don't they? Most do. Me, I got a taste for knives and other such pointy things. I doubt she has much interest in those, though. Sometimes I wonder if you're actually a girl. Anyone could see that Maria and I were close, but our relationship was strictly platonic. Or you would want to be. Of course, given her line of work, it was unavoidable that people thought otherwise. And honestly, it irritated me every time someone suggested we were anything more than friends. People have this annoying short-sighted tendency to assume that just because a guy and a girl are friendly, that they must be intimate. That is true. I've spent most of my life having friends that were girls, like from childhood through high school and beyond. And it is frustrating sometimes when people feel like there can't be that level. You absolutely can be friends with people who are of the opposite gender and not be attracted to them or want to have anything more than a friendship with them. It's silly. It absolutely is silly. And like, I don't know. Like, it's funny because I've heard people say that people who say that are just like lying through their teeth, but like genuinely not. Some of my closest friends and the people I depended on most growing up were girls. And like, I needed them in my life and I needed them as friends. And so it is frustrating when people make these assumptions. Especially parents, man. You bring a friend home who's a girl and like they're always just like, ooh, who's this? And you're like, just stop, okay? They're here to play video games. Didn't matter that she was a girl. I only thought of her as a friend, and as best I could tell, that's all she thought of me as well. Maria and I were first met when we were children. Even at that age, she was already a prostitute, myself a petty thief. We were both incredibly lucky to have survived to adulthood with only ourselves to watch each other's backs. It's possible the only reason either of us maintained the willpower to survive this long was because we had each other to complain about life when things got bad. So, is today the day? Are you finally gonna tell her how you feel? Excuse me? Tell her how I what? Don't be coy. You know exactly what. It's about time you manned up and told her. I think you've got a better chance than you think. Do I need to remind you how old she is? 12, as of today. Practically an adult. Fetch. I was knee-deep in... There's a line. Dang. Could you imagine that? Could you imagine like actually being a full-fledged prostitute by 12 years old? You're comparing her to you? The longer you hold off saying something, the more difficult it becomes. Break a leg. Party's gonna be in the back, so there won't be any customers around to interfere. Alright. I chewed over what Maria had said and watched her disappear down the brothel corridor. She wasn't wrong. She wasn't overanalyzing. I did indeed have special feelings for Morgana. Women seem to have this strange, somewhat terrifying ability to read people's minds. And Maria was the prime example of that. I had never once so much as suggested to anyone I think anything of Morgana, but Maria had somehow managed to pick up on it almost immediately. Fortunately, she didn't seem particularly bothered by the fact. Though if anyone else were to find out, I could only imagine the looks I would get. I mean, Morgana was 12. I was 22. Yeah, that's freaking bad. That wasn't normal. No, it's not. Never felt this way about anyone else that young either. See, that's one of the weird trickiness things about this too. So it's like, he's saying, he's like, okay, I'm not trying to defend him here, but it is like this unique situation where he's like, I've never had attraction to young people before, but Morgana's different. Doesn't make it okay, but at the same time, I can kind of see like, man, like, I don't know. It's one of those things that's like really easy to paint over with a big brush to be like, oh, that's just a terrible thing that you're attracted to young people. And it is, because if you ever even remotely consider or actually act on it, you are a terrible person and should never be allowed to like go outside, you know, like that's awful. You should never ever try to justify that. But at the same time, I have to admit, please don't take this the wrong way. In no way I'm saying anything like this is okay, but that we all end up having thoughts that you don't control. I've never had these types of thoughts, but like, I mean, has anyone ever gone through life not wanting to like beat the crap out of somebody for being a terrible person, or wanting to like, or like had like feelings of attraction that you shouldn't, for whether it be somebody who's like married or just somebody who's like, you know, has say somebody's other significant a different significant other, or somebody who just is out of your league, or somebody you just don't like, who's expressed that they aren't interested in you at all. Like, we've all been there before, and having thoughts isn't wrong because we all have thoughts we're ashamed of. But this is borderline on ones that like really need to be like pushed away. And it's weird because like I don't know what else I can say about this, because it's like, again, like I'm not trying to justify thoughts like this at all. Like I really can't, because there's something very wrong about taking advantage of or harming children that's just beyond the pale, you know? Of course, taking advantage of and hurting anybody is wrong. And I think, I don't know. At the very least, he needs to wait until she's old enough to make her own decisions, kind of a thing. But at the same time, like, you could see this type of action as being grooming, and that's bad. And if he's going to try and confess his love to a 12-year-old, that's bad. That's just bad. But I don't know. Man, I don't know. This makes me feel all sorts of uncomfortable, because it's really challenging. Like, I'm trying to understand his point of view and trying to see the human there. And the human fact is the fact that we all have thoughts that we're ashamed of. And just because we have thoughts doesn't make us bad. But acting on or strongly considering those thoughts and taking action on those thoughts is bad. And this is one of those cases where even the thoughts feel very, very bad. I don't know. It's weird. But there's like, yeah, this is one I'm gonna need help with, guys. If we end up having this conversation, I don't think we should avoid conversations like this, because it's important to be able to talk about stuff that makes us uncomfortable. That's kind of the point of a discussion. But I'm not trying to justify, and I'm not looking to be looking to try and find or hear excuses for people who have these feelings that can lead to very dangerous and very troubling mannerisms, actions, and like that. It's very bad. But do you get at the very core what I'm trying to say, which is simply the fact that people should not be like ostracized because of thoughts, because thoughts are just kind of what happen, and there's parts of us that are just not very pleasant because we're human and we all have an ugliness to us. Like, there's darkness in everybody. But again, this is wrong on a lot of levels. I don't know. I don't even know what I want. Like, does what I say make sense? Maybe that's all I need to know. Like, am I, like... Because, like, I really, really, really want to make sure you don't think I'm condoning this type of action. So it's interesting. I just don't know. Anyway, let's continue. We also have to remember, though, I guess, to be fair, contextually, this was a different time. I mean, Maria, she actually pointed out, she was full on working the work, walking the walk by the time she was 12. That's insane and sucks and really, really, really crappy. But like in this time in this time in the world and in the desire of survival, there really wasn't a whole lot of choice, was there? And that's really depressing and sad. And really depressing and sad that people would like take her up on that offer, which is really, really bad. Man, I'm already really depressed now. I'm just gonna continue. Any other girl Morgana's age just looked like another kid to me. So why was she any different? She was covered in scars, and every other time we met, she would tell me to go to hell. She refused to walk anywhere with me, and no matter how much ice I broke, I could never seem to get all the way through. Yet still, the world felt like it was just a little bit better a place when I was with her. Made me want to see her smile, no matter how grotesque her face. How would I even go about saying it, assuming I actually did? Even if your face is still healed in 4 years, I'll take you as my lifetime partner, Morgana. God, no, that's terrible. There had to be a better way to put it. Okay, 4 years, 16, back then, that's the thing. That was when people could get married. Like, people got engaged when they were 12, but like, that was an engagement. Still. Now I was getting stressed out, and it was all thanks to Maria. This was supposed to be a day of celebration, not a fretting over stupid personal matters. Not long after I arrived at the brothel and made my way to the back room, Maria and a handful of other unoccupied girls showed up. Morgana, who was supposed to be the guest of honor, was even more reticent than usual. The prostitutes chatted amongst themselves about work in unabashedly graphic detail, trading info on whether customers were good and which customers were bad. All the while, Morgana looking incredibly uncomfortable. Yeah, that could be rough. You guys think we could maybe change the subject? Like we have anything else to talk about. Making a birthday girl want to hide in the corner defeats the whole purpose, don't you think? Oh, that's what he said. Making the birthday girl want to hide in the corner defeats the whole purpose, don't you think? Oh no, don't mind me. I don't have anything I want to talk about. No, don't mind me. I don't have anything I want to talk about, Morgana said almost in a whisper, her head downturned. At least eat something then. The cookies are barely sweetened and dry as rocks, but they're edible. Jacopo, you little bee. You've got some stones talking crap like my cookies to my face. Stop it, Maria. Stop throwing things at me. The other girls cackled as Maria and I bickered. Hoping it might have elicited a reaction from Morgana as well, I snuck a glance over at her, but she remained expressionless. You are right about one thing, though. This is Morgana's day. So let's change the subject, Maria said with a little laugh, having hurled everything within arm's reach of me. Like I said, I don't have anything to talk about. Sure you do. You still have to look a little harder. Not saying you have to reminisce for us. It can be anything. Let's see. Here's an idea. Are there any guys you got your eyes on? I spewed my tea all over the table. There is. And then I started choking. Oh, fetch. What? What? Seriously? Holy crap. Who is it? Tell us. Who is the lucky guy? God. Ah, there we go. Everyone fell silent. Maria gave me a sympathetic look, and I knew exactly what she wanted to say. Sorry, kid. You ain't got nothing on God. A-hole. If you're gonna dream big, right? Yeah, I get where you're coming from. Pining after the all-powerful, all-knowing God. I'm with you. You bold-faced liar. The grass may be a heck of a lot greener up there, but it's a bit far, don't you think? You're better off settling for the weeds down here. Did she just imply I'm a weed? Maria looked over and gave a wide grin at the sight of me gritting my teeth, then continued. Say, the young man over... Wait, stop right there! Don't sing another word. Whoopsie me and my big mouth. I almost did your job for you. Dang it, Maria! This was not good. Like heck I was gonna let her corner me into saying it here. I stole a glance at Morgana, but her gaze was locked to her knees. I couldn't see what, if any, kind of reaction she was having. Morgana, what she was trying to say is that I have to go. What? I have to go to the bathroom. Sure. Morgana got up from her chair and left the room in silence. I imagine I was making a rather flaccid expression because soon as Morgana was gone, Maria began cackling like a mad woman. My reply was the nearest object, courtesy of my throwing arm. Loser! How hard is it just to say it? It would have been easier if you hadn't cornered me like that. I believe you would have done it without a little nudge. I would have. Eventually. Eventually ain't gonna cut it. Now's the right time. And don't worry, me and the girls won't make fun of you for getting your rocks off with the little girls. That's not the reason I like her. Besides, I would wait at least 4 years before. Doesn't mean you can't tell her now. I think it'd do her wonders, really. She's, well, you know. So I think knowing someone cares about her will lighten the load a bit. When she goes back, give her the necklace and tell her how you feel. And if she turns you down, we can all have a good laugh about it. Maria and a few other girls chuckled. And uncomfortable as she was making me feel, she had a point. Regardless of whether Morgana reciprocated my feelings or not, there was a good chance that just putting them out there would help break down the wall she had built in her heart. Maybe one day, I would actually be able to see her smile. I'll do it. I'll tell her. Didn't matter if it came out looking like a loser. Didn't matter if Morgana wasn't interested in me that way. What mattered was that she knew somebody accepted her, regardless of her appearance or things that she had been through. And if, by some chance, there really was royal blood flowing through my veins, then I could make good on my promise to show her the world. I could put an end to her life of poverty and abuse, replace it with one of comfort and wealth. I could buy her even better medicine, something that could actually heal her face. If I truly were royalty, I could do so much more for her. Makes it sound like I want to become some kind of fairy tale hero or something. But honestly, I wouldn't have minded that. If I was going to make her happy, to wipe away her past misfortune, why couldn't I make her a little dramatic? It wasn't usually my style, but in this case, I wouldn't have objected to a storybook ending. Dang. This, though. No, this wasn't the kind of story I was hoping for. Yeah. The heavy curtains separating the guest rooms had been torn to shreds. They were splattered with blood. A man, apparently caught without enough time to defend himself, lay splayed out naked on a bed, his empty eyes fixed on the ceiling. The whole area reeked of blood. All I could do was stare stupefied at the carnage. What the heck? Why? How could this happen? My dumbfounded mutterings were unanswered, though. The few who were still alive could no better make sense of the incomprehensible massacre than me. The sudden arbitrary upheaval of our world. The inexplicable, inescapable reality. Shortly after Morgana stepped out, I heard a woman scream from the front of the brothel. Next, a man shouting. At first, I assumed it was one of the customers losing his temper over something, but the tone of the scream seemed somehow off for something like that. It wasn't long before the noise had escalated to alarming levels, so I dashed toward the source of the shouting. A good dozen men, bandits or maybe thieves, they seemed more organized, had raided the brothel. They slaughtered all the customers, stripping them of any valuables. and they tied up girls, killing any who resisted. The first thought that rose to my panicked mind was I needed to find Morgana. I needed to get her out of here no matter what. I couldn't let her birthday turn into a tragedy. She had already been through enough. I had to make sure she didn't suffer any further. I had to make her life into something good. I searched and I searched, but there was no sign of Morgana anywhere. Until suddenly something seemed to crash into me from behind, causing me to stagger. It took a few seconds for the pain to set in, which is when I looked down to see the tip of a blade sticking out of my gut. How did he survive? Blood streamed along the metal surface, and there was little bits of flesh caught on the edges. I turned around just in time to see the man holding me kick me anyway. And before I had time to process what was happening, I hit the floor and lost consciousness. If I were a hero, I could have surely eradicated all the violent intruders in the blink of an eye, saving everyone. Protected that which I wanted to protect. Not had to lose anything. But I was just a mere boy. A weak boy, helpless against a few robbers. A useless boy, unable to protect anyone. When I woke up, Maria was kneeling over me, sobbing, no sign of the tough, foul-mouthed girl I knew. Aside from her, there were 2 other girls, also carrying, leaving only 4 survivors. Apparently, I wasn't dead. Looking down, I saw my bare stomach wrapped in blood-soaked bandages. The brothel lay in ruins, of bloody piles of torn bedding, clothes, and bodies. I made my way back to the front, and all I could do was stare stupefied at the carnage. What the hell? Why? How could this happen? My dumbfounded mutterings went unanswered, though. Maria stood beside me, quietly rubbing her trembling arms. Where's Morgana? I couldn't find her. Why not? I'm sorry. I looked everywhere, but I couldn't find her. I'm so sorry. I wanted to say I wasn't blaming her, but I couldn't find the words. If I'd had power, I could have prevented this from happening. What kind of power would I have needed, though? The physical strength to overpower the thieves? No, I needed to think bigger. If I weren't a peasant, but someone with real influence and import, no one would dare stand up to me. No petty thieves would ever consider a raid on me. And I would have the power to punish anyone who tried. But regardless, this would have never happened at all. I was supposed to give Morgana a good life. To show her the world. To make her smile. If only I had power. Absolute, unflinching power. If I had climbed to the top of the ladder when the chance was offered to me, this all could have been avoided. If only I had asserted my place as royalty a month earlier, as the woman who claimed to be my mother had urged me to. I wanted power. The power to keep everything I cared about safe. The power to change this danged world. The power to stop those filthy thieves. The power to keep her by my side. I wanted power. I heard about the attack on the brothel, and that you were hurt. I'm so glad to see you're well. About a week after the raid, I went to see the woman who professed herself my mother. As you would expect of someone who had served at the old lord's manor, she was elegant and graceful. The shack where she stayed, though, was a shabby, drab place with bare wattle and daub walls. I don't know what that word is, I'm sorry. You were concerned about my safety. Of course. Show me a mother who's not always concerned about her child's safety. Says the woman I'd never met until a month ago. Physical distance has no bearing on a mother's love, she said with a soft smile. Age had clearly begun taking its toll on her, but I could see hints of former beauty. If you had gone to speak with the Lord and revealed your lineage when I first came to see you, you would never have been in this kind of danger. There is still time. Go to the Lord's manor, show him. I'm not really your son, am I? The woman fell silent for a moment, observing me. I could see the resemblance between us, yes, and I had no memories of my mother. It would be nice if she were to show up back up someday, but it just wasn't likely. This whole thing felt extremely contrived. Discussion will progress much smoother if we both know what the other wants out of this arrangement. Oh, this is what he said. Discussion will progress much smoother if we both know what the other wants by this arrangement. Start by telling me who you really are. Were you actually maidservant to the previous lord? She gave a nod, then walked over to a grimy shelf and received a ring that looked very much out of place. It was made of gold, engraved with an elaborate insignia. Look at this. It's the Baronier family crest. The previous lord gave me a ring as a gift. and I've kept it ever since, even after our relationship was discovered and I was chased out. I didn't sell it because I knew I was a child. They will have no choice but to acknowledge you as a legitimate heir if you show them this ring. Why did you wait so long to come find me then? I was afraid they might kill you if I brought you in as a baby. Why were we separated? Misfortune. One day bandits came and kidnapped you. Presumably they were hired by the Barrener estate because they didn't want your existence coming to light. I consider it a miracle you're still alive. I can only imagine the stern look on my face as I listened to the woman speak. Part of me did indeed want to take everything she said as true. Wanted to believe I was someone important, but I couldn't convince myself I had anything other than a commoner's blood running through my veins. It would appear you've done your research. I don't have any other family, to the best of my knowledge, which does indeed make me a good candidate for you and step and claim your stakes on. If I were to guess, your child with the Lord has either passed away or never existed at all. It's probably true you worked at the Baroner's Manor, and it's probably true that you had relations with the former Lord. You were chased out, and now you live in poverty. You want to go back to your former, more comfortable life. While you're at it, take vengeance on the current Lord. But being a woman, you have no means to accomplish that yourself. So you came up with the idea of using a fake son. If your child were still alive, he would be right about my age, wouldn't he? And we look similar enough for you to convincingly claim we're related. But the biggest reason you chose me is because I've made something of a name for myself. Because I was one of the people involved in inciting the revolt 3 years ago. The perfect choice to spearhead a revolution. How dramatic. A man who set the Lord's slaves free was secretly his family. The people would eat it right up. So how far off am I? For some time the woman sat in silence. Eventually she broke it, not by yelling in anger or desperately trying to refute me, but with a smile. I knew very well what lurked behind that smile too. Scorn. You're sharp for a filthy peasant. It would seem I chose wisely. I was right. She was a manipulative, conniving shyster. That's German swear word, right? But that I could work with. That fits so much better. I wasn't royalty. I wasn't a hero. I was a filthy peasant. I'm in. Alright. So, we're going to see how this all plays out next time. Fetch. That was much more intense than I thought. And I'm impressed that he survived. A gut stabbing, especially if it nicked the bowel, which is pretty easy to do when you get, stabbed in the gut, is pretty much lethal. He got very, very lucky. But yeah. How does he go from, wanting to, propose eventual marriage with Morgana and wanting to show her the world to kidnapping her and doing exactly what the First Lord had done that had first horrified him? How did he become so jaded and so cruel? What changes in the next part to really bring that about? He seems pragmatic, like the kind of person who will do whatever it takes to make things happen. And maybe that ends up overriding his charity and his feelings. Or perhaps he simply is terrified that Morgana, knowing who he used to be, would end up ruining everything. That sucks. But we'll find all the details next time. So thank you so much for being here today. Thank you so much for joining me on the channel. As always, it's a pleasure having you here. This has been an interesting episode to say the least. But until the next video, watching me, I'll see you next. I'll see you there.